What it is, dudes, what it is. The trailer dropped. They gave us a sneak peek of what's to come in 1.2. There was also a live stream that went into depth. It's mind blowing. That's all I got to say. That's it. I'm just going to let y'all watch it. Let's go.
Do you know the story of Durin in this mountain? Snow gathers atop this mountain and never melts, which is a most curious phenomenon. In fact, I believe that the very sword in your hand has Durin's remains in it. As such, who could I find to help me if not you? Into position! Prepare for battle!
Getting a little cold?
Genius. But I don't think I'm any genius. Moment of birth!
My job is to honor my contract with Rexalathus. All hail! It's so nice to de-stress.
I made a new discovery while sketching nearby. There's an area up ahead that's quite remarkable. The truth of this world. What could it be? Was the two of us meeting really a good thing?
Dude, every time I watch that trailer, I get hype. I cannot wait for this to come out. This is by far one of the best trailers, the other being Zhongli. This is the best trailer I've seen for this game since it dropped. It shows you what all's coming. There is a lot to look forward to. The background, the scenery, that whole Dragonspine area is gorgeous. Now, the fact that it's ice, you may be led to the conclusion that cryo is going to be a big part of this theme. And if you thought that, you'd be absolutely right. Later in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the cryo stuff. In addition, there's a new cryo hero. Her name is Ganyu. Let's check her out real quick. So that's Ganyu. She's the new cryo character. Guys are going to be simping over her, no questions asked. They just will. Mihoyo did that on purpose. You notice the fan service in there. There will be a lot of money being spent to get Ganyu. Now, the first character, his name is Albedo. You may have heard the name before. He's one of Favonius Knights. He is their head of alchemy. Matter of fact, he was the person who taught Sucrose. Albedo is a Geo hero. He uses a single-handed sword. So yes, they've released 2 Geo heroes back to back, which means he may have a defensive playstyle also, since that's typical of the Geo attribute. Looking at his elemental skills, he has what's called Solar Isotoma. And that's if you noticed in the trailer, the little flower petal that he was standing on or near, that's his Solar Isotoma. When enemies within the Solar Isotoma zone are hit, it'll generate transient blossoms that all deal AoE damage. The damage that is dealt scales off of his defense, as you might have expected, as he is Geo. Those transient blossoms can only be generated once every 2 seconds. If there's a character near the center of the isotoma will accumulate Geo power and lift them onto a podium. Only one of these podiums can exist at a time. So I guess that this will be the equivalent of his Geo construct. Instead of having the rock like the Traveler, or the Stele like Zhongli, or Screen like Ningguang, he's going to have his podium. Which, that's actually cool, the fact that it lifts you in the air. Depending on who you're using on that podium, you can make somewhat of a kill box, giving you a tactical advantage over the enemy. Now, as far as his elemental burst, he has Rite of Progeniture, the Tectonic Tide. And so under Albedo's command, Geo crystals will burst forth, dealing AoE Geo damage in front of him. If there's a Solar Isotoma in the vicinity, 7 Fatal Blossoms will be generated in the Solar Isotoma zone, bursting violently into bloom and dealing AoE Geo damage. Burst and Fatal Blossom damage will not generate in the transient blossoms. He sounds like he might have some power. I don't know how excited I am about another Geo character, simply because with them being all defensive, I don't really get a huge benefit off of proccing them with other elements. You get the elemental shield that the shards make, but you know, when we think of any elemental reaction, we're thinking about damage. I want to either damage them like cryo, or I want some type of melt. I want superconduct, I want melt, which will, at least even if it doesn't damage them, it allows them to take more damage. I want something, whereas the Geo elemental reactions are all super defensive. Consequently, I'm not so sure I'll be rolling for him. If I get him, that's cool, but I don't know if I'm going to roll for him. Looking at his passives, his first passive, Homuncular Nature, using Rite of Progeniture, the Tectonic Tide, it increases elemental mastery of nearby party members to 125, or by 125 rather, for 10 seconds. His other passive, Calcite Might, transient blossoms generated by albiogenesis. Solar Isotoma deals 25% more damage to enemies whose health is below 50%. Not bad. His third passive, Flash of Genius, when he crafts weapon ascension materials, he has a 10% chance of receiving double product. Again, he doesn't sound like a bad character, but considering that he's Geo, I don't know if I want him. Looking at Ganyu, she might be kind of dope. I don't know how far you guys are into the story, but if you've beaten the Geo quest, the Geo Archon quest, Farewell My Archaic Lord, then you've seen her before. She is one of the Adepti. She also works for Ningguang. So she helps you guys fight off the revived god that Child brought back. Seeing her in the game now, we know that she is a cryo character and she's a bow user. That disappointed me. I don't really want another bow user. I've got Child. I've got Fischl. Of course, I've got Amber. I don't really need another bow user. I wasn't really looking forward to having one right now. But I do need another cryo person because I don't rock with Kaya. I've got Chong. I do have Chong Yun. I use him heavily now that I've got him. I've got a C4 Chong Yun. That's great. So consequently, I don't know if I'm going to go after her either, unless I do it for the same simp nature that all the other guys are going to be doing it. Now, looking at her skills though, she has a skill called Trial of the Qilin, in which she leaves behind a single lotus, similar to the flower that Albedo drops. Once she drops it, she'll dash backwards and deal AoE cryo damage. Ice Lotus continuously taunts surrounding enemies, attracting them to attack it. The endurance scales based off of her, or how long it lasts rather, scales based off of her max HP. Now, this is actually a new mechanic, and I am kind of interested in her for that reason. So a typical charge attack from Child, Amber, or Fischl, you charge, they shoot it. Once it's charged, it's imbued with, whatever element they represent, whatever their vision is. She actually has 2 charge attacks. So the first charge attack, which would be the Trial of the Qilin, is from charging, but if you charge longer, then you get the Ice Lotus. So that new mechanic is pretty cool, and that's also going to be an interesting thing about 1.2, the new mechanics involved, because the podium that Albedo has, that's a new mechanic also. Plus, there's another thing they introduced that'll be pretty interesting that I'll talk about later in the video. Her elemental burst is called Celestial Shower. She coalesces atmospheric frost and snow, summoning an ice soul gem that exorcises evil. I wonder if the exorcism thing is going to be common among cryo. Kaya, I know, isn't an exorcist, but Chongyun is. And they're both cryo, so I wonder if that's going to be somewhat of a recurring theme with the cryo users. Not sure yet. Anyway, during its ability duration, the Ice Soul Gem will continuously rain down shards of ice, striking enemies within an AoE and dealing cryo damage. Kind of reminding me of Amber when her ultimate rains down the fire arrows. I do like the idea of Ganyu, I really do. I'm not sure about a bow user. I don't know if I want another bow user, but I might. I'm trying to decide. I know I'm definitely not that interested in Albedo. If I decide not to get either, then I may be sitting on Prima Gems until like March. We know Albedo is dropping first, so he's going to drop in with 1.2 in December. The second one to come will be Ganyu. They did say that there will be no brand new 4 stars, so any of the 4 stars that drop on both of those banners will be ones that are already available. I wonder just how big the Dragonspine area is going to be. They did show us a couple of screenshots that split into 4 new areas, so there will be a lot to explore. There are also a ton of new enemies. There are the Sisson Mage, the Hydro and Electric Mage that we've seen for the Fatui. There's now a Cryo one. In addition, there is now a gigantic Cryo Lava Churl. Like you have the big stone Lava Churl, now there's going to be a Cryo Lava Churl. There's a couple others coming. There is also a new Ruin Hunter. And seeing that thing in action was pretty terrifying. I don't know if I want to fight that thing or not. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to all of the new enemies, to see what's coming out. Or to see what all they've got coming out and to see what all happens. Now, in addition to the new enemies and the new area, they've got several new events. They've got one event, the Hypostasis Symphony, where you will have to fight all of the hypostases. It looks like it may be back to back inside of an arena, but they're not the same ones that we fight in the typical open world. They have an entirely new series of attacks. So that'll be cool because we get to, even though we're playing the same enemies, we're doing it in a different way. We have to develop new strategies. And if it's anything like the Spiral Abyss, then who knows? We may not even be able to heal between matches. So that would be kind of cool. They've also added a new mechanic into the game. If you've played Warframe, then you may be familiar with it already. This new mechanic is called sheer cold, and what it is it's temperature based. So just like in Warframe, where when you're on certain planets, if you're not close to a heater, you'll get cold, and then once you're cold beyond a certain point, you start to lose health. This mechanic is the same way. So Dragonspine is an extremely cold area. While you're walking around, you will start to get cold. As you get colder, you will lose health. Of course, if you lose all your health, you'll die. There are things to help you out. There's going to be torches, there's going to be bonfires, and there's also going to be a new type of Seelie. That Seelie will also be able to warm you up. They have several new weapons. All of the weapons are free. That's probably the dopest part about this update. There's weapons, they're level 4, they're 4-star weapons, and they are all entirely free. They also have some new artifacts. Now, of course, with a new artifact, that means new domains. These artifacts will complement several characters, especially for the Chongyun users and for the people that'll be using Ganyu and people who may use Kaya or any of the other ice characters. There's a cryo set, and the cryo set seems like it's going to be pretty good. The 2-piece set, you'll get a cryo damage bonus. Now, with the other set, with the hydro set, you'll get a hydro damage bonus with that also. But those sets both look really good. I'm looking forward to them. I really want the cryo set because I think that would just set Chongyun off. He needs his own set. And with that set, he'd be dope. What else is coming that's new? I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I mean, I guess I'm kind of indifferent to it. But a lot of people may be interested. We get pets. So we get pets. The Seelies can well, not these Seelies, not all of them. But there's a particular type of Seelie that you get on the quest. And it follows you around while you're on this quest. However, at the end of the quest, you have the option of actually keeping the Seelie. So you'll be able to keep the Seelie and he'll be able to float around with you. So now you'll have Paimon, but she's emergency food. So in case you actually end up having to eat her, well, you still got your Seelie to travel around with you. Let's see, any other updates? We got the free weapons, we got pets, the new mechanics. It seems like there was something else that I wanted to touch on. Yes, the community. They've been improving on the co-op play. So they've been adding a couple of they will be adding a couple of features. For example, they will have private messaging now so that you'll be able to communicate with other users. You will also be able to chat in-game with users that you aren't currently co-oping with. That's actually pretty cool. So I can be in my single player world, my buddy can be in his, and we can still message each other. That way, if we need to coordinate meeting up to play or whatever, then we can do that. There's also several other ones coming that could be really good. It looks like, one thing I can say about Mihoyo is it looks like they really listen to the community and they're really trying to take into consideration the things we say on the website, the things we say in the surveys they send out, and you can see the changes that they're putting into the game. So I'm really looking forward to this, really looking forward to 1.2. It is going to be the best release yet. Again, I don't know if I'm simping for Ganyu, and I know I'm not going to get Albedo, so if not, then I may just run up in January or February with about 8,000 Primo Gems, because I've been sitting on them, and I don't know, we'll see. But that's it for now, dudes. So you guys go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, turn on notifications. That way you're notified whenever I upload new content. Tell your friends to do it. Tell your friends to tell their friends to do it. Tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends to do it. And I'll see you dudes later.